Okay, so I am getting planned for the first day and actually the first week because we know that we need to get a lot accomplished that first week, and some things will move quickly and some things will not. I have to model everything, every expectation. So, the first week, this is how I prep my materials. I get all my different options of things that I want to do and I keep them in this bucket, and I have worked out in my head an order of how I might like to do things, but a lot of that has to do with me reading the room. You know, the kids have been home, they've had a chance to take naps and sit on the couch and eat, and they're going to get tired. So if I look at them and I think, oh, they need to wiggle a little bit, then we'll turn on a Go Noodle dance, and we'll dance and we'll wiggle, and then we work. Beginning of the year, we do a lot of that. We do a lot of wiggle before we work, and I wiggle too. Would I like to sit down? Absolutely. But for them to buy in, and honestly, it's good for me too. We will do the cha cha slide. I will cha cha slide also, and then we'll sit down and we'll get to work. So, in my bucket of things that will get done, I have labels created for all of our journals, and I have a journal as well. We'll have four journals in our desk. One is the literacy journal that will have reading and word work, and they'll write their name on this and they'll stick it on their journal. I'll have one also. They'll have a writing journal. I'll have a writing journal, so they'll label it. They'll have one that's combined science and social studies, and they'll have a math journal. So, one of the things we need to get done that first week is our journals all labeled. I have a lot of different really great read alouds. I won't get to all of them. The first day jitters is always a hit. We will talk about when we go to our read to sell for independent reading. This book is called The Best Places to Read, and we'll talk about all the different choices of where you might want to read. Some kids like to lie on their backs with their backpack under their head and read, and I'm completely fine with that. Some like to be on their tummies. Some like to sit at their desk in their chair. Some like to lean against the wall. If they are doing the right thing, I really don't mind where they work. They will talk about the best books to read, how to pick good fit books. So I've got to read aloud for that. One called All Are Welcome, and then Don't Squeal Unless It's a Big Deal. And we talk about the difference between tattling and telling. When do I need to know something, and when are we tattling? So that we can just create a healthy classroom family. Also have a getting to know each other. Just type up in a grid, and they'll each get a clipboard and a pencil or a pen, and when I say go, they'll move around the classroom and try to get a different child's name in each block. We'll do some goal setting. They'll do this goal setting with Smarties. I'll give them a pack of Smarties. I ask them not to eat it yet. We're going to work with it. And we do 3 rounds of working with the Smarties. The first round, they unwrap them. They try to stack as many of them and have them standing in a tower at the end of 1 minute and count them up. And they write down how many. Then they'll set a goal for how many they'd like to do the second round. And then they'll write down how many they actually had. And then the third round, they'll do it one-handed, and it's a little more challenging. But then we talk about goals, and is it okay that we reach our goals? You know, it's okay if we don't get to our goals right away. And then they will create some personal goals for themselves. One will be academic, and they'll come up with some good ones. And I'll save this piece of paper. It's a great thing to use at conference time, but also we'll come back and revisit it. Get them finding the different things in the classroom. I just make a class scavenger hunt, and usually I put them with partners, and they move around, and when they find these different things in the classroom, they check it off, and then at the top it says, come see me for a treat. And I've got a little treat to give to them. But this is just a way for them to find, the learning targets, find the tech bags, find the lost and found bucket without me having to use my voice. They are going to hear me talk a lot the first 2 weeks. They're going to be tired of my voice. I'm going to be tired of my voice. So anything I can do to have them up and running and moving, not running, up and moving around the classroom, but still learning is bonus. I'll teach them how to do writing, and we'll read the story Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Love this book. And then we'll do a writing about themselves and their terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Now, the nice thing with this is once I model it, like this is me with my coffee stain, and I write at breakfast, my coffee spilled on my shirt and it burned. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. This, I don't know where this came from, probably a teacher pay teacher, but it's one I've used every single year. And it's also a great one to hang on to have at conference time. So I've written my own version, several times because you got to model for the kids. But the nice thing is once I get them up and running on this, then I can pull them to my small group table and I can start my beginning of the year assessments, which is what I need to do so I know where they are and what we need to work on. This is the book I read, Alexander Who Used to Be Rich Last Sunday. That's the book I read before I launch the ways that they can earn Bronco Bucks. They can earn Bronco Bucks just by doing a great job from me, from other teachers in the school, through their class job. And that's the same application that I showed you in another video. Also, they can earn them as an entire class if we do something, get a compliment in the hall. And what I do is I use Class Dojo. We are not allowed to use Class Dojo in our district to communicate with parents, but it's a great way to do positive reinforcement. And I can pull mine up and show you because then I can give everybody a Bronco Buck at the exact same time. And it makes that, I'll put it up there on the screen right here. So I can select all of them and say that they were, on task or working hard. Click that and it gives everybody a point, and those translate into Bronco Bucks. At the end of the week, however many, the number that they have by their name, then I'll give them their Bronco Bucks, which they'll be able to use at the class store. Now, beginning of the year, if you ever see me in the hall, I have an apron. It's from one of my past schools. I love it. Pull it out. It matches my Sully and Mike Monsters Inc. Monsters 2. But I just keep my laminated money or my Bronco Bucks. I have two kinds, the kinds that are school kind and the kinds that are my class kind. And I give it out like confetti. I mean, really, this beginning of the year, reward every good thing I see. Did you help somebody pick up their pencil box when they dropped it? Thank you for being a great friend. And that's what builds that positive feeling in that community. This is their wallet, nothing fancy. It's a legal size, I guess, or long size envelope with their name on it. They'll keep up with their money. At the end of the week, we'll do some trading. So if they have 5 ones, they'll trade it for a 5.
Some of the
And that's
things
what we'll work on. We'll read one of my all-time favorite books. I love Kevin Hinkey's, but Lily's Purple Plastic Purse. This is a great one. It's also a great one because Lily does some things in class that she's not supposed to do, and then she feels very remorseful. This one's called The Day a Monster Came to School, and the monster comes to school and he tears up the books and he does different things because nobody's taught him the right way to behave. So we talk about how can we help each other and make our classroom a nicer place to be. And then we'll do create our class contract where we come up with things that make our class a nicer place to be, and then we'll all sign it and we'll hang it on the wall. I always have something like a directed drawing that I'll have ready to roll, and I'll model the drawing. They'll draw it on a plain piece of paper and we'll do some writing. This is a great packet that's on Teacher Pay Teacher. I'm not sure who created it. This is a great example of them being able to listen. Can they listen and follow directions? And it's fun, and it gets out that creative side that they need a chance to use, especially at the beginning of the year. I like in math to use the Big 20 for just a computation check. We used to use these countywide, but now they've kind of fallen by the wayside. But the kids love them. I love them. They set a goal, and then they see how many they get correct each month. There are 20 computation problems in here, and they get 20 minutes. And I tell them at the beginning of the year, I haven't taught them any math at all. So if they get 1 or 2 correct, then they are ahead of the ball game. By the end of the year, I will have taught them all of these computation skills, and they'll get all 20 correct in less than 20 minutes. So this is just another data piece that they use to set goals. And then I've got some read alouds that are always just fun. The 3 Little Pigs I'll use, and I'll show them how to complete a story web. I've got a Scholastic. We'll learn how to read with a partner and then read to answer questions. Scholastics are great if you can get those funded. I love this. This is also from Scholastic. I do this every year. Buy a packet of these. And the kids fill them out. And then by the time the parents come for curriculum night, these are hanging on the wall outside. And then I save them. And at the end of the year, I give them back. And the kids are always so excited when they see how they wrote and how they drew at the beginning of the year and how much they've changed, how much they've grown. So those all about me's. And I think that, and more read alouds that all have a specific purpose. So all of this, I know I need to get done and then some. That's not, we've got more to do, but the way I keep it organized, I've got math games in here. I'll teach them how to play partner math games with their whiteboards and number cubes. So I've got these here. Everything is set up so that I can pull it and use it at any time during the first day. And for the times where they feel like they can sit and listen and be quiet, there's a story and writing. And the times where they need to be more active, we've got this class scavenger hunt or exploration stations, which is one of my favorites. So hopefully that helps as you're getting prepped. The main thing is reading the room and realize that when you look at a child, this is what I've told my student teachers before, and this is what I live with. I want you to think of the child that you love the most in the world, and then you treat that child the way you would want a teacher to treat them. If it's your child, your daughter, your son, you treat every child in here like you would want a teacher to treat your child or your niece or your neighbor. Because everybody in here is somebody's most important person in the world. And I'm going to treat them like that too. So all of this that's here, along with me teaching the kids my expectations for read to self and writing and word work, reading using technology, all of that is setting the stage for a successful year. So once this is learned, and this is where we really work hard the first week, but it'll take us the first month, the first 20 days of school to really get where it becomes a habit. After that, we move into the true second grade curriculum. So behind me, we use the EL program for ELA. I have my resources. I have my module resources. I have my skills block and my decodable readers. I have my data file. I like to keep things in baskets, everything that has to do with science and social studies in here, everything that has to do with math in here, everything that's whole group skills block will be in this basket. So everything back here is the true academic standards, knowledge and standards. We call that AKS in Gwinnett County, academic knowledge and standards. We'll get to that. But you can't get to this until we establish the flow. And once the kids know how we run things in here, if you walk into my classroom, you may see me at the small group table, or you may not be able to find me. And I may be sitting next to a child or a group of children or a pair of children, conferring with them on their reading or their writing or doing a quick word work lesson with them. My goal is that I could walk out of the room and go to McDonald's for a cup of coffee, which I wouldn't do, and they could run themselves. And really, they're 7 and 8, but they will. And my most favorite thing is at the end of the day, when they have worked so hard and they are tired and I am tired, and at that point my hair is on the top of my head in a ponytail because I've worked so hard, I'll say it's time to clean up and go home. And there'll be this big groan, and they'll be like, no, can't we stay longer? And that is music to my ears. You might not believe it, but truly, when you have your kids at the end of the day, when they're tired and they're hungry, say, "No, we want to stay," then you know you're doing the right thing.